Hey everybody, Logan here. It's time for the third controller in this installment. Yeah, well, it's the third one in the ES series from GuliKit. So if you guys have seen it before, I've covered quite a few of their controllers, and GuliKit reached out to me once again and said, hey, do you want to review this new version in the ES line? What is that, you say? That is the ES Max. So we've had the ES, the ES Pro, and finally the ES Max. So this looks like it is going to be the newest top-of-the-line controller for the Nintendo Switch 2. Will also work with PC. As you can see, it comes with a standard AVXY layout, but you can swap it to the Switch 2 layout, and I will show you that in just a moment. But this looks like it will be one of the most, if not the highest performing controller for the Switch 2 as of right now, unless you're using a third-party one with an adapter or something like that to get a PC one working. But you know, you've got those, but this one has the features that people want for the Switch 2, like console wake. So how about we unbox this, test it out, see if it's any good. Here we go, the GuliKit ES Max Controller. Now, one thing I did pick up for this are the GuliKit controller keycap buttons, because it doesn't come with it from my understanding. And this is, well, I bought these on Amazon because they had the white ones, but I had the black ones on the other controller, so I decided to swap them out. So we're gonna see the black ones here to match this controller. But yeah, let's get into it. So if you look at it, pretty simple. You've got your specifications. Now, if you look at the back, this is where we're gonna get all of the details. 1.8 millisecond latency on wired, 3.25 millisecond latency on wireless. So if you want to be more competitive, hence the esports, you definitely want to use wired, but most people, well, all esports gamers use it wired. It's kind of required in tournaments. 1000 hertz polling rate wired and 730 polling on wireless for PC. Keep that in mind. Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 wake up. Comes with a hyperlink to adapter. Motion aim assistance for FPS games on PC, for those of you who use it. I don't know anybody who does. Honestly, most people who play PC games are usually just keyboard and mouse. Well, there you go. Dual vibration motors for vivid game feeling. So I don't think that, yeah, that's going to be your standard actuators, not HD rumble. So if you want HD rumble, this doesn't have it. Anti-friction steel ring for smooth control. Patented electromagnetic TMR anti-stick drift smooth long life 4000 level high precision. Did it say? I thought it said Hall effect. Okay, but no. So they do have TMR. That's what everybody wants, especially if you're going for the highest end one. Has to be TMR. 3 adjustable sensitivity levels on joystick. Patent smart trigger technology for easy swap. So trigger locks. 2 mappable rear buttons, adjustable D-pad, 8 direction, 4 direction, adjustable joystick sensitivity with on and off dead zone, new gen Hall effect triggers with high precision. Okay, so that's what I read. So it does have the Hall effect trigger. So that's a lot. So we got to open this. Okay, right off the bat, that's significantly heavier than their previous ones. And okay. The buttons feel higher quality. Now, one thing that some people might find a little different on these, the back buttons here, the back flappy paddles. Now the ES does not have that, the standard ES, but these are significantly lower profile, so it's a very short press travel. So that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to have to adjust to, because a lot of other controllers have a longer travel distance. So just get used to that. Digital, analog. So for PC, you're going to be using analog, but for the Switch 2, which is what we're going to be using this for, digital, because it's not necessary any other way. That's nice. So you got, comes pre set for Nintendo Switch, and you can swap it to PC. The metal sticks. A quieter D-pad than the previous one. I do like that. Your sync button, your home button, your settings button, your capture button, your plus and your minus, A, B, X, Y. Now, what I mentioned earlier is A, B, X, Y. That's wrong. Nope, that's that Xbox layout. So, like I said, I popped these off of a different EX. I think it was the EX Pro, and I swapped them out. And now if you have the TT line, these also work with the TT line. So keep that in mind. You can get these buttons and swap them in and out if you have the Game Boy colored one or the Super NES colored TT, or I think there's even a new one that's blue. You can mix and match your buttons as well. But you take this little piece right here and just go boop, pop that out, pop that out, pop that out, and pop that out. Then you go here, you go B, because for the Switch, that's the proper setting. And then we do, okay, problem. Okay, I think it's this way. Yeah, because the X is the same upside down and right side up. There we go. Okay, there we go. Boom, pop that one in there, right there. And then pop in the Y. Come on. Come on. Beautiful. And that's how you swap them out. So you got the proper Switch and Switch 2 layout. I really do like the sticks. I love the fact that we've got metal sticks, almost like the previous versions, the KK for the Switch 1. The KK3, I think, was the last one. That's going to take some getting used to. The low profile ones, that's a nice feeling controller. Really, really nice. So, do we have any power? Yes, we do. All right, so what do we have to do? Sync with that bad boy. Okay, so let's sync it to the console. There we go, it's synced. Now you can see it registers it as a Switch 1 Pro controller, not a Switch 2 Pro controller, so it does not run on the protocol. All right, so how about we test something out? So I already have Pocopia up and running. So we're going to use this to simply just test and see how, smooth, and use 3D camera controls with both sticks. We're also going to test it on Marvel's Secret Invasion for the D-pad. Nice. Okay, that's one thing I like to do, and most people are going to say, why do you use Pocopia? Because there's a little trick that I've noticed, depending on the controller you're using. If you spin this fast, you'll be able to do that spin, and that means there's extremely low latency. I've used controllers that if you try to do that, it just won't work because the latency is so high. So it's a little trick. Very low, like extremely low. The only thing is, with the Switch being only 250 hertz, you're not going to get that high 1000, 2000, 4K, 8K polling rate. So you're looking for low latency in-game performance, because otherwise, yeah, you're just not going to get that number that most people want when they're playing on, say, Xbox or PC. But that's beautiful. Very fast. Buttons do not come pre-mapped, but everything is super fast. So that is fantastic. So what we need to do is switch over to Marvel Cosmic Invasion and test out the latency for the speed of the D-pad and face buttons in a beat 'em up. Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, quick response, you know, it feels like an Xbox controller. That has been my only complaint about this line of GuliKit, because I'm not a big fan of that D-pad, but it's much quieter than a standard Series X controller. I do love the fact that the face buttons are swappable. That is one of my favorite things, because if you're going to be using a multi-platform controller, keep in mind Switch is BAYX and Xbox is XYAB. So it breaks a lot of people's brain, and I'm definitely one of them, when they're backwards, especially when you're playing a new game or something like that, and sometimes it'll switch it around. There are controllers out there that'll do the auto switch, but when you're using a Switch controller and a Xbox style, like say a GameSir controller, where it does the auto switch, your muscle memory goes out of whack. So I do like the fact that you can swap out the buttons. That is fantastic. I love the fact that on the ES Max that they've now given you the extra buttons and the trigger locks. I love that. The only thing is, I wish it was shaped more like a Switch or a Switch 2 Pro controller than an Xbox controller. But the Xbox controller has been basically the universal standard for a very long time in terms of just peak controller style. I'm one of those that kind of gets bored. But otherwise, this is a fantastic controller. Every one of the GuliKit controllers I've used in the ES line have been great. Whether you want to go with the ES Pro, or the ES Max, all depends on how much you want to spend. It is multi-platform, and they're all meant for an esports style of gaming, depending on how much you want to spend. And they all have the swappable face buttons, as well as the TT line. They have the swappable face buttons, so you can use them on Switch if you want, or PC. Now remember, the TT has the symmetrical, while the ES has the asymmetrical. So most people usually go for the asymmetrical in this style. So now there's 3 in this line: the ES Pro, and the ES Max. Depending on what you want, there is a version for you. So thank you, GuliKit, for reaching out and sending this to me. I do like this, going to be using it for a while on this Switch 2. And for whatever games that come out, I'm still waiting for my copy of Oblivion Remastered to come in. I did pre-order it, but hey, we all know how that's going. And then otherwise, I'm still playing Pokopia, and I always play this. I've got a ton of hours. I love this game. And then we've got some great games coming out for the Switch 2 as well, so this will be definitely put through its paces. Again, thank you, GuliKit, for sending me this. I love these controllers. They have been fantastic. And if you guys have any more questions, drop it in the comment section below. I'll be glad to answer anything I can. And well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video. God bless each and every one of you. Like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.